Ògún is Òrìṣà of technology. Ògún was technological. Ògún can be considered as our Òrìṣà of civilization, in the aspect that Ògún taught us about metallurgy, fire, agriculture, defense, generosity. When we think about the Òrìṣàs, when we study, when we pay attention to the virtues, to the values of the Òrìṣàs, we start to discover that each one of them possess valuable qualities. And I'm very sure that all these qualities are very similar to what we dream for our life. Ògún transformed the sand, the soil, into metal. This is why we say Ògún pẹ̀lẹ́, ọmọ abúlé ṣòwò. Ògún that transformed the sand, the soil, into owó, into money, into progress, into prosperity. Ògún forged all the tools we use in life, from the domestic aspect to the industrial aspect. It was Ògún that forged the first knife, cutlass, gun, everything we can see and observe nowadays. Ògún is intimately associated with the concept of Yoruba civilization regarding technology. The iPhone we use is not only the technology. The iPhone is the advancement of the primordial technology. The vehicles we drive is the advancement of our primordial technology. Ògún, in his mythology, was very concerned on how to civilize the human race. He went to consult Ifá, and Ifá prescribed for him to do a ball so that his mission in Ayé will be fully fulfilled. And what were the missions Elédùmarè gave to Ògún? It was to civilize human race with the wisdom, with the knowledge of technology. So for this, he needed two basic tools, fire and metal. And without fire, you cannot have the metal. So Ògún revealed how to make fire and what to do with the fire. Ògún went to mine metal from the soil, iron, and he started to forge different tools because he was also a warrior. He was an hunter. He was an agriculturist. He was a symbol of generosity. As a warrior, he taught human race the sense of defense. Because when we talk about war, people think war is only destruction. Ògún is the god of war on how someone can defend himself against different challenges. He needed to give to his people the sense of self-defense, how to defend themselves, how to defend their interest, and how to protect themselves against external intruders. So by this, Ògún forged the arms, the weapons, and taught them how to use it. Ògún is considered as the god of war, not in the sense of destruction, but in the sense of defense of our personal, collective, and individual interest. Ògún is considered as the god of metallurgy. That is why we say Ògún Àgbẹ̀dẹ, because our primordial technology was from how to forge the basic domestic and agricultural tools. It was Ògún that designed the model of all these tools. It was the Àṣẹ of Ògún that gave the support or the discovery on how all this should be done. From this primordial intervention, support of Ògún, human race continue to develop this primordial technology from Ògún. Ògún on his own mission was also Òrìṣà of agriculture, because the soil needed to produce food. And to produce food, there was a need for efficient tools. It was Ògún that also forged the tools that was used in the field for clearing the field and for preparing the soil for plantation and for the harvest. His knowledge, wisdom was so complex that he taught human race how to plant, how to harvest, and also how to divide the wealth. This is why we consider Ògún as Òrìṣà of prosperity, the god of prosperity, the god of wealth, the god of generosity. There's a song that says, Ògún kọ́lé kò nílẹ̀kùn. Ògún built a house where there was no doors, so that everyone could enter his house and share with him his progress, because it was by then to teach human beings how to extract from the soil wealth, prosperity, and also how to share this. So Ògún is also considered as the god of prosperity, because he supports our prosperity. We do offering for Ògún for the blessings of our life, of our work. And also Ògún is the god of generosity, because when he was planting, he was harvesting, he was sharing with the others the seeds so that they can plant and have what to eat. He was teaching them the methods of planting, of harvesting, of preservation, and he was sharing with the others what he was harvesting from his plantation. So this is why he is considered as the god of generosity also. Ògún is also in the division of labor. Whenever you have the opportunity to see the blacksmith, we still have so many of them in Nigeria, we call them Àgbẹ̀dẹ or Alágbẹ̀dẹ, the blacksmith. They are all devotees of Ògún, because Ògún is the patron of the blacksmith. Ògún is the patron, is the god that guides the vanguard of all that deals with metallurgy and fire. When you go to the blacksmith, we can easily start to understand the importance and the process of civilization also of Ògún nowadays. We can witness this. Where the blacksmith manually, in a very tough way, they forge tools. They forge musical instruments like agogo. They forge cutlass, knife, hoe, so many tools for domestic use, for farming, for defense like a weapon. So what you can notice, what we can really notice when we go to a blacksmith is the concept of division of labor. Ògún, in his era, when he was civilizing human beings, he taught us how to celebrate life by when we are working. This was the origin of Ìjálá. The hunters, they are all devotees of Ògún, because Ògún is the patron of hunting. When we say hunting, it is not only to go to the forest, to the bush and shoot a gun. This is not the concept of hunting. Hunter means strategy and strategist. The Yoruba hunters, who are devotees of Ògún, we can call them strategists. They don't just shoot the gun. Ògún is the god of strategy. So, among the hunters, you have some alágbẹ̀dẹ, the blacksmith, also among them. Ọdẹ, which means hunters, which means the guardians of the society. The very interesting thing is they are always in a good mood, because Ìjálá, eré ọdẹ, Ìjálá, the happy song of Ògún, they sing this song to make their production more easy, to make everything to go as it has to go, and also to celebrate while working. For the devotees of Ògún, the blacksmith, the alágbẹ̀dẹ, the ọdẹs, the hunters, they have a very common style of life. They work by celebrating life. And this can be noticed when you have the opportunity to see them in action. They are always singing. They are always in the good mood, because Ògún, we can consider Ògún as the Òrìṣà of division of labor. Ògún taught us in our civilization how to divide responsibilities. If we look to the aspect of Ògún as the god of war, in the war you have different hierarchies. You have different divisions of labor. In the era of Ògún, it was the one leading the war. Till now, all Yoruba cities and towns, villages, are protected by the ọdẹs. We have the local guards that protect the environment, not only against the intruders, but also against bad energies. So coming back to the lifestyle of Ògún, we can notice two basic things in this aspect of division of labor. Among the hunters, each one has its own role. And in the blacksmith, the àgbẹ̀dẹ, when they are forging the tools, each one has its own role, because you have different departments in the blacksmith, and each one has its own role, its own contribution, its own function. Each one knows how to come into action. And what is very interesting is the song they sing, the devotees of Ògún, either as the hunters or the àgbẹ̀dẹ. Once I asked them, why do you did you sing so much enthusiasm? Why are you so enthusiastic singing for Ògún? The answer was our Ìjálá gives us the relief. It makes us more productive. It makes our work more exciting. It gives us the celebration. We celebrate life while we are working. Look at the answer. With their share of Ògún, the blacksmiths, the hunters, the devotees of Ògún, they celebrate life while working. They are, for instance, in the blacksmith, they are in front of a fire, I don't know how many temperature, and they are sweating, and you see on their face joy, singing, celebrating life. In each instrument, you see rhythms. So we learn from Ògún that all work has its own division of labor. Everybody has its own capacity, what is capable of doing, what is not, and to put things in sequence, in logic. Ògún possess their share of organization regarding productivity. Yoruba civilization is very concerned about the process of organization. We can observe in all our traditional work, everything are synchronized. Each one in Yoruba society has its own role, its own contribution. Each one knows what to do. So in the complex of Ògún, we have different specializations. Mythologically, we say that Ògún was the Òrìṣà that put the marks of our destiny in the palms of our hands. Coming to post-Ògún civilization, we have many specialists in the society whose work and function are from the knowledge of Ògún. For instance, the Alábẹ́. We cannot study Yoruba civilization, Yoruba culture, Yoruba society without taking into consideration the very, very important role of the Alábẹ́s. Alábẹ́ means the priest, the specialist that possess the secrets of the knife or of the blade. They are those that perform our traditional facial marks. Every society in Yoruba territory, they have their own facial marks. All these marks we have on the face has to do with each one's family, environment, origin, and these Alábẹ́s are those that put these marks on our body. The spiritual tattoos that are done on the body are done by the Alábẹ́s. They are priests. They are the devotees of Ògún. They have their sacred hands prepared to mark the body spiritually. It's impossible to study Yoruba society without taking into consideration this group identity. When you go to Abeokuta, in different parts of Abeokuta town, you have different markations on the face. When you go to Oyo, you go to Ibadan, you go to Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, in different Yoruba cities, different Yoruba groups and subgroups, you have different markations. And who will put this markation on the face, on the body? They are the Alábẹ́s. They are the priests that perpetuate the Ashe of Ògún. It is not any common person that can do this. Also, these Alabe, they are the one that performs the circumcisions, which is part of Yoruba civilization. Circumcision in Yoruba is done for hygienic purpose. All the male children, they go through this, mostly all, because this is to prevent from penis cancer, and they consider this as a more hygienic way of life. Because once someone told me that male circumcision is a mutilation. Of course, it's an ignorance to say this. For the Yorubas, male circumcision is a health situation. We do this because it's more healthier to have it. Since our primordial time, from our ancestors, we learned that when a male child has his own circumcision, he will have an healthier life and will prevent this child from infections and some illness, some disease, illness. And this is proved nowadays scientifically. This is also the process of civilization in Yoruba society, which we learned from Ògún. Ògún gave this Ashe to the Alabes. Ògún gave this Ashe. Ògún gave this knowledge. And they are the one that does this. They possess the knowledge, the techniques, the abilities to perform this small surgery domestically without any negative consequence. The Alabes, they are also our traditional surgeons. Yoruba civilization has its own traditional surgeons. It is not so difficult to find these surgeons. They have the ability to do this. Because we can imagine a child undergoing this circumcision at home, and nobody ever has an infection because of this. It is because we dominate, we have the knowledge, the wisdom, the techniques on how to do this. Thanks to Ògún, the Òrìs of civilization. We always knew that this needs to be done to prevent illness. This is Ògún. So our traditional surgeons, Alabe, they are also devotees of Ògún. They got this Ashe from Ògún. Of course, we cannot deny the influence, the importance, and the presence of Ògún in Yoruba civilization. Ògún is Òrìs of courage, of determination. Ògún is Òrìs of action. When you observe the lives of the hunters, for example, they say, bí ọdẹ bá ro ibi tó bá ro ìyà, tó bá pẹran kò ní fẹ́ nìkan jẹ. If a hunter, we think about the exhaustive effort he put to hunt in the forest. When he will hunt an animal, he will never share the meat with anybody, because Ògún is the Òrìs of effort. The devotees of Ògún, they never give up. And we really worship Ògún not to give up. Ògún is action. When you observe the alágbẹ̀dẹ in the blacksmith with this manual way of forging metals and tools, you can see that they are very active. They never give up. So Ògún is Òrìṣà which I called anti-laziness. Yorubas usually say, iṣẹ́ kì í pànìyàn, ọ̀lẹ ní pànìyàn. Hard work never kill someone. Will never lead you to die. But laziness can kill. It's interesting. We believe that laziness kills because when someone is lazy, he cannot achieve anything in life. It leads to frustration and disappointment in life. When you are hardworking, at least you have a chance to have your effort rewarded. But anyway, in Yoruba society, it is a taboo to be a lazy person. And because this is what we learn from Ògún, that hardworking, action, devotion, efforts are extremely important for our lives. Ògún is a share also for the collective purpose. Everything regarding Ògún is for social unity. Ògún, with his knowledge, wisdom, all what it taught us is to unite the society. As I've said in the beginning, Ògún was so generous that he built a house without a windows and doors, so that everybody could have the freedom to go into his house, to learn with him, and to share with him the fruits of his labor. He was so generous that he was giving the seeds to people to plant so that they can have surplus of food and everybody will have what to eat. So Ògún is a collective energy. This is why he's the god of war, as I've said in the beginning, because it teaches us how to defend ourselves, our territory, and our society in general. Ògún is the Òrìṣà of justice also. Yoruba civilization, Yoruba culture, Yoruba society, we have in Yoruba society a very good sentiment. We are not so destructive. Yorubas are not so destructive. We are not wicked. We are not a kind of society that like to be in war. We are very friendly. Yoruba culture is very friendly. Yoruba civilization is very friendly. Yoruba civilization is a constructive civilization. So our sense of justice, we got it from the Òrìṣàs. Because even we Yorubas, we say this publicly, that if our governments, the presidents, the governors, whoever in a political, social leadership could swear in the name of Ògún, our society will be better. Because everybody knows that Ògún is the god of justice. If you will swear falsely in the name of Ògún, you bear the consequence, and everybody knows this. We know that this is real. It is so real that our leaders, they don't accept the challenge to swear when they are swearing into their office, to use their share of Ògún to swear. And it is interesting. This is the dream of all the Yorubas in Nigeria. They want the leaders to be swearing in their office with the name of the Òrìṣàs, because they know that our Òrìṣà, they like justice, honesty. So Ògún is also considered as the Òrìṣà of justice and honesty. This is the reason why when someone wants to prove his innocency, when someone wants to prove that it's not wrong, he swear in the name of Ògún. And when someone swear in the name of Ògún, we let it go. Because we know that this Ashe of Ògún will always promote justice. And for any society to be harmonized, we need justice. This is why Ògún is also the god of justice. It's part of our civilization. It's part of our spirituality to have transparency. We can also conclude that Ògún is the god of transparency, honesty, decency in Yoruba civilization. But we shouldn't forget, Ògún was a warrior, and a warrior is the one that defends his society to have a peaceful environment. And this can only be possible when there's honesty and transparency. This is Ògún.